Thanks, everybody. So, do I actually have 30 minutes here?
You got longer than normal because we did have one company that has exited.
Okay, well, I'll take a deep breath this time. So, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks. We have a really good group of people, and I appreciate that everybody took time away from meetings and working with some really excellent companies. And really thank you to Kai and the rest of the team here with Soar for another awesome conference. So, my name is Doug Cavey. I'm the Executive Vice President for Defiance Silver. And Defiance is a Mexican-focused exploration and development company. We have 2 projects in Mexico. We have a strong capital structure, about $2 million in cash. We recently just completed a $2.8 million financing at 10 cents. So I thank everybody who participated in that. I'm sure you're quite happy as the stock has moved up to about 21 cents since then. So sitting about a $50 million market cap, fully diluted, 280 million shares. What's important is that's very tightly held with our management. CEO Chris Wright and his funds own about 17.5% of that, and management and insiders on a fully diluted level about 6.5% of that. In the last financing, management committed about 10% of the financing, so we do participate and we put our money where our mouth is. We've seen pretty volatile trading over the last 52 weeks. We touched on a 52-week low of 8.5 cents, so we're pretty happy to see a little bit more life come into the market. And like everybody else in the industry, we've suffered from what has been pretty much a lack of awareness and a lack of understanding. And so that's why I find it's very important for us to stand up here and give some discussion about that. So why invest in Defiance Silver? What sets us apart from everybody else? And really, everybody's in this because they want to invest in the sector and they want to find the names in the sector to grow. So there's a few key components that you want to have. And that's a really good team of people who've done this before. And I'm very proud of the team of people that we work with. We have a track record of finding deposits in Mexico, going through the exploration to discovery cycle, taking those projects from a discovery through to M&A. We have the technical team, Vice President of Exploration, Director. That's my father, George Cavey. Part of the Orco Silver team, who sold our last project in Mexico, La Preciosa, for $380 million in 2013. Our team of technical professionals have a combined experience of over 100 years of cumulative experience working in Mexico, where we've taken projects from infancy right through to production. We leverage that knowledge in Mexico by consistently drilling grade. If you look at the last 2 years, where we've been one of the few exploration companies to have executed and then successfully defined very high-grade mineralization in a very well-developed camp, you can see that we have a 90% accuracy rate hitting the main structures in the Veta Grande, which has historically produced about 150 million ounces of silver. We've got a project, a copper-gold asset called Tepal. About 60,000 meters have been drilled there, and we have, and I'll touch on some of the exploration results that have been defined outside of the historical resources in Tepal. Our high-grade results are driven by industry-leading in-house analysis and in-house technical analysis and technical usage of what is the best in show. And because of that, we do have success in district-scale land packages. So in Zacatecas, which is a billion-ounce historic silver camp, right next door to the Fresnillo mining district, which is the world's largest primary silver mining district, we're the second largest landowner, and we actually just recently executed 100% ownership of a property we purchased from Pan American Silver. And we've stepped through that package using systematic exploration. It's very key that we follow that systematic exploration. It's not only cost-effective, but it de-risks your targets so that you can drill, as I say, consistently drilling grade. So all these make a really good case for an exploration company when the markets do participate, and I think we're seeing that a little bit more now. So why Mexico? Mexico is the premier geological address for open pit and underground mining. There is top 10 producer in all 5 big commodity classes. It's the #1 producer of silver. It's in the top 10 of gold, copper, lead, and zinc. So we have 2 projects in Mexico. We have our silver polymetallic asset in Zacatecas. It's district-scale land package in the billion-ounce historical Zacatecas mining district. And then we have our Tepal gold-copper project, which is a large 1.8 million ounce, 800 million pound copper deposit located in Michoacan state. I'm going to touch on the team here because you're going to see these names a lot, and if you work with us, you're going to come across them. The top there is Chris Wright. He's sitting in the back of the room. Strong leader, very capable financier. Him and his funds own 17.5% of the company. They've been participating in every financing since they came into the company. Myself, I won't talk about too much of myself because I'm here. To the left of me is Jennifer Roskowski, our principal geologist, who has really led the discovery of most of our of what we've been doing in the camp, putting together a very, very pragmatic approach to collecting data and targeting that data, but following that linear approach. George Cavey, my father, founded OrQuest Consultants in 1982. We've been on the discovery of 3 world-class deposits, Escape Creek, Hemlo Gold, and then La Preciosa, which we sold in 2013. The bottom, we have Miguel Davila. He was Randy Smallwood's right-hand man in Mexico with Lewisman and then Goldcorp. He's seen probably about 1 billion ounces of silver go into mills in Mexico, and he's really our senior driving engine of the understanding of these systems in Mexico, which is critical to the success. Across from him, Armando Vazquez, one of the up-and-coming leaders of the Mexican mining space, certified professional geologist. And at the bottom, Isabella Dame, who if you've interacted with the company, you've seen, if you see any of our marketing, you see Isabel's work, and she is the bright future of what is, a highly professional and dedicated team of people. We focus on this picture a little bit because it's painted in the mid-1700s. Most of the mountains you see in that photo or in that painting are under option or owned outright by Defiance Silver. Those cathedrals were built in the mid-1500s when the Spanish originally came there. Almost 50% of the silver that was produced for the Spanish Empire came out of this in the Fresnillo district. Those cathedrals are largely still there. It's a very beautiful mining district. Underneath all of those buildings is underground mining. 1 billion ounces of silver has been removed from this picture here. Zacatecas represents one of the most exciting and probably most underexplored billion-ounce historic silver mining camps. There's not many of them around. We're the second largest landowner. We've acquired those properties through outright purchases, through option agreements, which we have one final payment on in our main resource area. And then in the north, the Lucita properties, which we now own 100% from Pan American Silver. It's, in fact, the only property in our portfolio that we don't have an option to repurchase an NSR. Pan American has held on to that. I think that speaks to their desire to keep their fingers on that asset, because at one point it was one of their top greenfields exploration projects in Mexico. So jurisdiction matters. This is arguably one of the world's top premier mining jurisdictions, and when you look around at our neighbors, it doesn't really take too long to see why we believe that. To the southeast of us, or the bottom right of us, you have the San Nicolas project. Agnico Eagle just stepped in on a $580 million direct investment for 50% of that asset, valuing it at $1.1 billion, and that's a pre-build asset. To the northwest of us, we have the Juanicipio mining district, the Fresnillo mining district. Juanicipio and Fresnillo, that's going to contribute about 40 million ounces of silver to the global mining silver production space. So it is, by and large, the world's largest primary silver mining jurisdiction. Up a little bit further, you have Pan American Silver's La Colorada mine, some of the best discovery results on a global exploration project in any commodity coming out of that skarn discovery at the La Colorada Deeps exploration. In the north, you have the Peñasquito mine. That contributes 20% of Newmont's gold equivalent ounces from a large open pit polymetallic mine. To the south of that, you have Camino Rojo, one of Mexico's newest open pit gold mines. And then directly next to us, who we share a property boundary with, is Capstone's Cozamin mine, which is a 4,400 ton per day underground operation, going through expansion, getting lots of investment from Capstone, and they've just put their production figures out recently as well. So you have the world's largest mining companies operating, and we couldn't ask for better neighbors because they're very successful and they're making a lot of money. Our exploration thesis is quite straightforward. We think this is Fresnillo from the 1960s. Why do we think that? Because until Juanicipio went into production, the Zacatecas district had produced more silver. We had these small little graphs that you see there, they're kind of hard to read. What they just show the scale and the size of the system. We have similar grades, we have similar size deposits. In fact, in some cases, we have higher grades and higher tonnage that had been produced up till when these graphs were made. And the Fresnillo mining camp is currently the world's largest silver mining camp. You can stand on our property and you can look across the valley and see the Fresnillo district. It's the same geology, it's a similar crustal position. It's what has that initial indication, had there not been 500 years of mining history in our camp, that you would look for when you're going to put together a district scale exploration package. The anchor of our Zacatecas district is the San Nicasio project. It's a very historic project. San Nicasio makes up about 60% of the Veta Grande vein system, which has produced about 150 million ounces of silver. So at today's commodity prices, a very, very, very big mining district. We have an option to purchase 100% of this. We have one final payment to make in September. Since 2014, we've done over 25,000 meters of drilling. None of that has been included into an updated resource estimate. We have a historical resource estimate, and we're underway on completing we'll call it a maiden resource estimate, but an updated resource estimate, and we expect that to come out in the fall of this year. Our exploration results have demonstrated that this system is much larger, it goes much deeper, and that is very poorly explored outside of the domains of mineralization, outside the domains of mining from this 500-year-old mine. These are just some, grade thickness, just to show results. Last year, we drilled one of the highest grade thickness holes in Mexico, one of the best drill holes that was drilled in Zacatecas state, which is Mexico's largest silver mining state, and Mexico is, of course, the world's largest silver mining country. And that was a 7,000 gram meter hole, which puts it, up in the upper echelons of a global silver mining drill hole, or silver exploration drill hole. This is cross-section through the deposit. I won't spend too much time on this, but the pictures are really great. So if you do, look on our social media, you can see it's a well-developed, very metal-rich, very polymetallic, but very, very active, long-lived system that has gone multiple pulses of mineralization. And we believe that these repeat at depth. Lucita, we acquired this from Pan American Silver. We recently purchased this property, so we have 100% ownership. It makes up the bulk of the future of the exploration of the Zacatecas district. And we've de-risked it with exploration discoveries as well as surface demonstration of surface continuity and surface exploration results, which we recently just released. And that was in our Lucita Norte. So Lucita North, we know there is resources available up in the top here. That's the Panuco deposit owned by the neighboring company. That's a 16 million ounce deposit. Those veins extend for 4 kilometers along our property. We define the Gloria Aurora Plumosa system, which is excellent grades. We have some samples from there grading up to 600 grams per ton silver, 15% lead, 4 grams gold, 0.5% copper, so very polymetallic system. And these respond well to metallurgy. These are very well tested in the district with the mining history. We plan to test this with a drill program in the next 12 months, particularly on that Gloria Aurora Plumosa trend, which is about 4 kilometers of consistent mineralization. A lot of it's grading over 200 grams per ton silver at surface. Lucita South, we made 2 discoveries on this property last year. One was in the eastern half on the first drill holes. One drill hole was up to 3 kilograms per ton silver, but we're hitting sort of 3.5 meter wide veins, except on the Lucita West, which is number 2 here. We hit a blind 50-meter wide contact-hosted structure. That structure is mappable for multiple kilometers on surface, and it looks like it does express itself in a number of spots as well. We have drill permit applications ready to aggressively drill this property, and we'd like to get a drill program alongside the Lucita North property in the next 12 months. So the elephant in the room for us really over the last 2 years, or the last 18 months, has been the Tepal project. We received word in 2022, that's right, that this property had been illegally transferred from us, and we had been in litigation for 1.5 years. Instantly, our market cap was decimated. We recently received a ruling in favor of Defiance that the public registry was to cancel this illegal transfer, so this property was rightfully returned to us, 100% ownership of a very, very large undeveloped copper-gold porphyry and epithermal system. So what does that mean for us? 1, update the resource estimate because the previous resource estimate used assumptions of 1250 gold and 250 copper. We're going to update that with more modern numbers as the gold price is, significantly higher, copper price is significantly higher, and look to design, potentially pit shells that capture what could be considered as mineable material, but was not captured in the previous resource estimate based on the metal prices in 2012. Tepal has excellent location. It's about a 5-hour drive from Guadalajara. There's an international airport in Morelia. There's an international airport in Guadalajara. There's an international airport in Colima. You drive on paved roads most of the way to the property. There's a hydroelectric facility right next to the deposit. The project is situated close to Mexico's largest concentrate shipping facility in Manzanillo, as well as a deep sea port in Lázaro Cárdenas. And ArcelorMittal operates an open pit iron ore mine right next door to us. Surface rights are held by private landowners, and that's a catalyst we're looking to get under agreement is long-term surface rights access for the development of this project. We spent a lot of time defining areas, and one of the areas we want to focus in, as I said, the exploration potential of this is a deep hole below one of the historical conceptual pits, which is 188 meters of a gram gold and 0.3% copper, 0.38% copper. That's well below the current resource estimate and well below any historical pits that had ever been designed. It's showing that you're getting deeper into what looks to be a porphyry setting, hotter temperature alteration, or higher temperature alteration, hotter temperature mineralization. You're seeing the classic minerals, chalcopyrite transferring into bornite, and higher grades as you go deeper into the system. And this thing is controlled by crustal scale faults. So big, wide, long living faults that tap into the deep roots of the Earth's crust. I see that I've run out of time. Gives a couple minutes for questions. I kept it in there. That's good. I'll just touch on catalysts for us over the next 12 months. So we have an updated resource estimate underway at Zacatecas. We have an updated resource estimate underway at Tepal. We have surface exploration that we're going to be conducting in Zacatecas. We have an option agreement to exercise for 100% ownership of Zacatecas, and that'll bring us up to a pretty modern 100% ownership of two very exciting exploration and development properties in Mexico that are anchored by strong resource estimates and exploration potential that could last another lifetime outside of what we're currently doing on this asset.
Okay, thank you. Any questions out here?
How much is the last payment?
$2.5 million, $2.3 million US.
Your monthly version. What is your burn?
About 200,000 Canadian. So largest investor is Windermere Capital. It's a fund-based series of funds based in Montreal, and founders in the back there. You can talk to him a little bit more about that. On the last financing, we brought in 3 new funds. We've got about 12 funds that are small to medium-sized funds invested in. Management is major shareholders. We're very active buying in the market. We participate in all the financings. So institutions and management, about 40% of the company.
Okay, I guess I'll ask a question. Tell me more about the fact that you own or have the ability to buy back the NSRs, which is the net smelter royalty, which is basically taking a portion of the money off the top when you actually go into mining. What opportunities does that provide you, versus a lot of other juniors that have that there?
So with respect to Tepal, so we have an option to repurchase the royalty on Tepal. It's a $4.8 million back-end weighted option agreement, so we can make that payment once we've made a production decision, effectively. That 2.5% royalty, in some of these copper deposits does represent your margin. Like, are you going to make money or not, and when are you going to start making money? A lot of these copper porphyry projects don't make money for quite a while after their development costs, and depending on their cost of capital or their initial capex. So that gives us not only the opportunity to financially model as if you don't have those payments, but a lot of flexibility on bringing in partnerships, whether that's streaming companies, whether that's royalty companies, whether that's going to give you a streaming agreement, whether that's going to give you initial capital by outright selling the royalty. Royalty market was very hot a couple years ago. It seems to be kind of picking up. We're seeing some new royalty companies be created in a variety of shapes and forms. With Zacatecas, we have an option to repurchase a 2.5% royalty as well, giving us flexibility through actually already existing shareholders, but giving us flexibility on what can we do with a concentrate agreement or a sales agreement on that property. Same thing, just trying to control for your economic modeling, for your basis of your resource estimate, which is really done on that NSR value per rock per ton.
Okay. I guess another question, Mexico's been in the news recently about this idea of no more open pit mining, but I think it's a lot more nuanced than that. You might want to talk a bit about that?
Certainly. Well, it's a bit contradictory that a country that is attempting to nationalize a lithium industry, where lithium is mined as an open pit, has then said that they're going to ban open pit mining. Sort of makes that investment in lithium a bit of a dodgy one. I don't suspect that what is one of the largest contributors to GDP, foreign investment and mining, I don't suspect that the government would look at part of that GDP, the mining GDP, about 35% of the mining GDP coming from open pit mines, some of the world's largest open pit mines. 2 of the world's largest open pit mines are in Mexico. I don't suspect that the government's going to look at one of the largest drivers of GDP, one of the largest investment into government through taxes and through royalty taxes, as something that they're going to take off the plate. Foreign investment into Mexico represents a huge amount of the direct investment through largely manufacturing and mining. I don't see how that is going to make a lot of sense in terms of that they have 10 of the largest open pit mines top 10 producer of multi-commodities and 2 of the largest open pit mines, one being gold, one being copper in the world. It is a bit nuanced. There's a federal election coming up on June 4th. Whether or not that plays a role in what the sort of election campaigning is doing, I leave that up to the politicians, of which I am not. But I would be very surprised to see a country with the wealth of resources that are both owned by foreign investment, but also Mexican companies. So Grupo Mexico's open pit mines, Grupo Minera Frisco. These are companies that are traded on the Mexican Stock Exchange, exclusively on the Mexican Stock Exchange, Peñoles. I don't see how that would really help that stock exchange retain its market capitalization.
Okay, thanks. Okay, with that, thanks a lot, Doug.
Very welcome. Thank you, guys.